Raphael felt his heart race when he spotted the cave hidden behind the bushes. It was an invitation to an unforgettable adventure. The boy decided it was time to challenge his limits and explore the unknown. With a backpack on his back and a heart full of courage, he approached the entrance of the cave. But something was wrong. The air was charged with tension, as if a threatening presence was nearby. Raphael hesitated for a moment, but soon decided he wouldn't let fear dominate him. He took a deep breath and stepped forward. That's when everything happened very quickly. Suddenly, a shadowy figure jumped out of the cave and grabbed his backpack. Raphael barely had time to react. He was paralyzed with fear, not knowing what to do. It was a moment of pure adrenaline. The boy looked at the tall, sinister man in front of him, who stared back with a malicious smile on his face. Raphael felt his heart sink. He knew he was in trouble. "What do you want?" "Who are you?" Raphael asked with a trembling voice. "I am Antonio, the greatest thief in the region. And that backpack you carry looks valuable. So give me everything you have in it right now, boy," Antonio said with a cold and menacing voice. Raphael tried to resist, but Antonio's strength was overwhelming. He finally gave in and handed over the backpack. But not without noticing a curious look from the shadowy man. Was he Raphael's enemy or ally in the adventure to come? Raphael watched Antonio as he took the backpack and opened it hastily, looking for something valuable. The boy noticed that the thief seemed to be searching for something specific, making him suspect that there was more to the cave than just a robbery. Raphael took advantage of Antonio's distraction and silently moved away, hiding behind a large rock. He didn't want Antonio to catch him again, but he couldn't leave the cave without discovering what was inside. Carefully, Raphael peeked into the cave. He noticed that there was something shiny at the back of the cave, but couldn't identify what it was. He needed to get closer to see. Raphael sneaked through the cave, trying to make as little noise as possible. He saw Antonio examining the objects he had stolen from the backpack while continuing to search for something more. When Raphael finally reached the back of the cave, he saw a wooden chest covered in dust and cobwebs. The chest was locked, but Raphael noticed that there was a key next to it. The boy picked up the key and unlocked the chest. He opened the lid slowly and was surprised by what he saw. Inside the chest was an ancient map, which seemed to be very valuable. As Raphael examined the map, he heard Antonio approaching. He knew he needed to get out of there as quickly as possible before the thief caught him again. Raphael folded the map and put it in his pocket, before hiding behind the same rock he had hidden behind before. He watched Antonio examining the empty chest, and when the thief finally left the cave, Raphael went on his way, determined to discover the secret of the ancient map. Raphael also studied the ancient map carefully. He noticed that the map had many strange markings that he could not understand. Raphael knew he needed help deciphering the map and finding out what it showed. So he decided to look for an expert in ancient maps. He asked his grandfather, who told him that there was a man named Miguel who lived in a nearby town and was an expert in ancient maps. Raphael knew he needed Miguel's help, so he planned his trip to the town. He waited until nightfall to avoid Antonio following him and set off alone, carrying the map and his backpack. When Raphael arrived in town, he found Miguel and showed him the ancient map. Miguel was impressed with the quality of the map and said it seemed to be from an ancient expedition that had taken place in the region. Miguel began to study the map carefully and explained to Raphael that the strange markings were actually codes that indicated the location of a hidden treasure in the forest. Raphael was excited about the discovery and decided he needed to find the treasure before Antonio did. He asked Miguel for help deciphering the rest of the map and plotting a plan to find the treasure. Together, they studied the map carefully and discovered that the treasure was hidden in a cave at the top of the mountain. Raphael knew he needed to prepare for the difficult and dangerous journey ahead. He decided he needed to find some essential equipment, such as a first aid kit, a water canteen, and some tools. He would also need a larger backpack to carry everything. Raphael devised a detailed plan for the expedition and waited until he was fully prepared before setting off. He knew he couldn't fail, as the treasure was at stake and Antonio was still lurking. As he reflected on his journey, Raphael realized that the sword and compass he had found could lead him to an even greater treasure. He decided it was time to embark on another adventure and follow the map he had found. He spent weeks studying the map and following the clues that led to the treasure. He crossed mountains, rivers, and forests, faced wild animals and unexpected dangers. But his determination did not waver, and he continued to move forward towards the ultimate goal. Finally, he arrived at the location indicated on the map. There was a dark and damp cave, and he knew the treasure was inside. With the sword in hand, he entered the cave, ready to face any danger he might encounter. Inside the cave, Raphael discovered a huge treasure, gold coins, precious jewels, ancient artifacts, and much more. He was amazed by the magnitude of what he had found and realized that the journey was worth it. He took a small amount for himself and donated the rest to charities, knowing that the treasure could make a difference in the lives of many needy people. With a heart full of satisfaction, Raphael left the cave, ready for the next adventure life had in store for him.